Hey everyone, this is Mario again, coming at you with another movie review. There's only a few days left in Monster Fest. Seems like only yesterday I started it. Well, I started a week earlier, but that's beside the point. Now, before I start this review, I just want to let everyone know that glare on the screen, I can't really do anything about it. Because, see, I turned the light off. Still there, it's the light from my turtle tank. So, just bear with it, and I hope it's not too distracting. It's like the elephant in the room, just ignore it. Don't pretend you can't see me. Don't pretend you don't know why I'm here. Yeah. Now, the movie that I'm reviewing today is a film that I saw that day that Douglas spent the night. You know, we saw the movies like The Crow, which I've already reviewed. And we saw a movie from Fox, back when they were good, which I'm going to give it a rewatch along with one of its sequels before I review it. And this is another one. I've been meaning to review it every time I keep forgetting, but I decided, it's Monster Fest, I might as well review it now. And that, of course, is the 1978 disaster movie directed by Irwin Allen and starring Michael Caine, Lee Grant, Jose Ferrer, Katharine Ross, Richard Widmark, Richard Chamberlain, among others. The Swarm. It is a disaster movie. It's a disaster movie about killer bees. I know most people, when they hear that, they're like, you're probably thinking, what? Steal a line from the Joker. You mind saying that one more time? It's a disaster movie about killer bees. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. What is so scary about bees? Why would you make a horror movie about them? Yeah. Now, the Joker's right. Why would you make a horror movie about killer bees? I mean, it's just one thing you're like, what? I mean, killer bees are dangerous. I mean, they're aggressive, but are they that dangerous they warrant their own movie? And I mean, there's multiple movies. This is just probably one of the best known of them. But I go with it. This basically is what I will call a big budget B movie, because it has a budget. It had a $21 million budget, and this is in the late 70s, so that was a lot of money. I mean, of the original Star Wars movies, only the third one was more than that. I mean, the first one was only like 7 million, the second one was like 15, the third one was like around 30, so that's a lot of money for back then. And of course it only made 10, so it was a flop, but you can really see that the money went to the effects. Granted, some of them look laughable, like the bee hallucination, but pre-CGI, so they're doing what they can. But you can see where the money went. It went to the actors, for one, and it also went to the sets, and of course the bee wranglers, because that's one of the things about this. They use real bees in this movie. And of course, with the scenes that they shot, I had to look up something, because I'm like, how'd they do that? And I found out that they actually cut the stingers off the bees that were used, so, you know, to prevent stinging. But I hear that some people did still suffer allergic reactions because, like, the venom got in the air, which I could see that happening, which that would suck for me because I'm allergic to bees. Granted, I've only been stung only once at a time, and the last time I was stung here, and my hands swelled up. I'm right-handed, so that sucks. Lucky it was when I was in school, so it didn't really hurt that much. Now, the plot is that Brad Crane, who is a scientist, he's played by Michael Caine, he breaks into this one military facility that has basically been decimated. When the military sends more people in there to find out why. He informs the military that it is due to killer bees, that they have come from Africa, gone up to South America, and have bred with domesticated bees, and have now created a deadly strain, and are now swarming in large numbers, which poses a threat to man, and they need to stop them. Of course, the military doesn't believe him until the bees attack, so they have to use him as their expert, and the movie is basically just trying to figure out a way to stop the bees as they kill people. And of course, how the military reacts at first, I would believe that's like, killer bees? Wait, get out of here. It's like, space, it's like bees are attacking, I'm dying. But then they believe him. It's like in any monster movie, like, it's like, it's a monster, it's a monster, it's a fucking monster. And of course, Michael Caine, from what I understand, he considers this one of the worst movies he's ever been in which, of the roles I've seen him in, this is probably, let's see what movies, the movies that I've seen him in, fully. I know a couple he's been in. The ones I've seen him in are both of his Batman movies, his Austin Powers movie, this movie, and of course, Jaws: The Revenge, which I will say he does a better acting job here than Jaws: The Revenge, which the only reason I think he doesn't call that probably the worst movie he's ever made is the only thing negative it did was probably cost him from being able, made him not able to accept his Oscar in person. But he bought a house, so kind of balanced it out. Here, I think he only did it for the money. Then also, he didn't like the time on set, and also the fact that he ate bee poop by mistake. Yeah, because the bees were leaving like these little yellow things on him, and he even thought it was honey, so he ate it. And then I can just imagine him, Michael, did you just eat the yellow thing that was on your shoulder? Yeah, what? Michael, that's bee poop. What? It's bee poop. It's honey, but it's digested honey. I can just imagine how that would have went. And I will say, of the actors, Michael Caine's the only big one I recognize. I mean, I recognize some other people like Slim Pickens, Jose Ferreira, who is the father of Miguel Ferreira, which you guys will remember from RoboCop, and also he was in the Stand miniseries. He's also, and by marriage, that also makes him the uncle of George Clooney. And of course, let's see, we got Henry Fonda, which I know recognize the name. I just haven't seen that many movies he's in. Then what was that guy? Ben Johnson, I think is the guy I'm thinking of. The other guy I recognize, because yeah, that's him. Because I recognize him from that movie that I reviewed on my old channel, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. He's good in this movie. I actually like his character. I will say this. It's a B movie, but it's a B movie that you actually like the characters. All the main characters they introduce, you like them, especially the little kid, because he survives the bee attack by hiding in a trash can while his parents get stung to death. And then it's basically also his fault that the bees swarm, because he goes back and lights the nest on fire, so... But you can understand why he did it, so you hate him a little bit for it's his fault, but you understand him at the same time, especially when he hallucinates the bee. I mean, that is kind of creepy, but it's done in a B-movie way, so it's also slightly comical. That's why I say this movie is kind of, at times, like with that, it's so bad it's good, but the whole movie as a whole is not like that. It's a B-movie, like I said, a big-budget B-movie, and that's why I enjoy it, because it has that B-movie vibe and theme, but it has a budget where most B-movies don't, which is why I think this movie succeeds, I guess as you could say, as like a guilty pleasure, and which is why I'm glad that it became a cult film eventually. And I will say this, the acting performances in this film kick the shit out of a lot of the acting performances we see in films today. Like, Michael Caine in this film acts the pants off of all the actors in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. He acts the pants off of everybody in both of Rob Zombie's Halloweens, except maybe with the exception of Brad Dourif. And he definitely outacts the people from Twilight. And from what I hear, probably by extension also that Fright Night remake. You probably walk up to Colin Farrell and like, hey Colin, you're a vampire, yeah? Well, you're not covered in bees! Let me see that, Colin Farrell versus the bees. They're stinging me! They're too small to bite! I'm trying to like, I'm biting my arm! I bet all my friends who ate that remake would love to see that. He's covered in bees! Not only that, we're going to cover Michael Bayer in bees. They're stinging me! I'd love to see that. Now, the thing is, another reason I consider this to be a B movie is it's along with the bees. And I mentioned it's kind of hard to take that seriously, and the reason is killer bees aren't that dangerous. The only thing that's really dangerous about them is that they sting a lot, and they're aggressive. Of course, now we've been able to breed a more docile strain, so that's why they're considered the best bee to use for beekeeping, because I think it's something with honey production or something. But their venom isn't more potent than a normal honeybees, because like this movie tries to make them out like they're more dangerous than a rattlesnake. which they're not. But I'm gonna guess maybe that there's something about them that Michael Caine's character isn't saying, like maybe they were genetically engineered that way before they escaped or something. Who knows what those people down in Brazil were doing to those bees? Remember, what happens in Brazil stays in Brazil. Yeah, that's why they wanted to escape. Anyway, for the entertainment, I give The Swarm a 3.5 out of 5. It has the acting. It's not award-winning, but it's not so god-awful. You're like, why am I watching this? The directing, maybe to be desired, but the money you see went to the effects and to the set. And also, Jerry Goldsmith does have a very good score, and I do like the use of horns. I really want to get this score on CD. I mean, if anyone knows a torrent where I can get it, or anyone has it, let me know, because I really want to get this score. And it's distributed by Warner Brothers, no surprise. Is it on DVD? I'm checking. Oh, it was released on Laserdisc. I believe I saw the longer cut because it was over 2 hours. So, granted, both in the theatrical cut's under 2 hours. So yeah, I probably saw the longer one. Oh yeah, here's something. This film was only in theaters 2 weeks, so that's probably one reason why it bombed. But, you know, I was just trying to do something. The only thing that really made a lot of money off it, I think, was the CD of the score. And of course, this movie is getting the remake treatment soon, which I don't really mind that. I know the bees are going to be CGI, which is going to be the only thing that pisses me off. I will say this: if they did the remake of this film with love and affection for the original movie and for the fans of the original movie, maybe make the film maybe a little bit more serious. Actually explain why the bees are so dangerous. Like, they'd probably have to mention the genetically engineered thing in order for this idea to work nowadays. It could work. But then again, it might end up failing like every other remake has, except for, you know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, the Friday the 13th one, My Bloody Valentine one, from what some people say. But I just hope it doesn't. Hope it doesn't suck!